Endless-owned Yorkshire Premier Meat and Smithfield Murray are being brought under one umbrella as the newly created Carnova Food Group. The new brand will sit about the existing Yorkshire Premier Meat and Smithfield Murray brands, which are both being retained in recognition of their strong heritage and reputations. Carnova confirmed that there would be no immediate changes to how the two businesses operated, and customers and suppliers to Yorkshire Premier Meat and Smithfield Murray would see no changes to their current service. There are no plans to consolidate production between the two brands. Paul Peachy, Chief Executive of Carnova, said, "The bringing together of YPM and Smithfield Murray under one group named Carnova is another exciting and important step in the organisation's ambition. Growth plans, which will see further organic growth, investing more in our sites, our people, our processes and new technologies, together with further acquisitions." While the manufacturer didn't go into detail on what the growth would look like, it did say it was looking into the opportunities the two businesses could offer each other. There is no word on whether the move would affect jobs at either site. Brought together in 2023 to create a major UK force in business-to-business protein supply, Carnova has revenues of over £120 million and services customers with flexible multi-protein supply of value-added products. The group employs more than 250 people across two sites in South Kirkby, near Doncaster, and Trafford Park in Manchester. The new Carnova name has been developed from the Latin words for meat and newness. The European Commission has fined Mondelez International €337.5 million for hindering the cross-border trade of chocolate, biscuits and coffee products between the EU and member states. It was ruled following an investigation by the Commission that the actions of Mondelez represented a breach of EU competition rules. This included engaging in anti-competitive agreements with the goal of restricting trade and abusing its dominant position in certain national markets. In particular, the probe found that Mondelez engaged in 22 anti-competitive agreements or concerted practices by limiting the territories or customers to which 7 wholesale customers resell its products and preventing 10 exclusive distributors from replying to sale requests from customers located in other member states without permission. Meanwhile, Mondelez was found to have refused to supply a broker in Germany in order to prevent the resale of chocolate tablet products in where prices were higher, in addition to ceasing the supply of these products in the Netherlands to prevent them from being imported into Belgium. The Commission concluded that Mondelez's practices prevented retailers from being able to freely source products in member states with lower prices by artificially partitioning the internal market. However, Mondelez was granted a 15% fine reduction because it cooperated with the investigation and acknowledged its liability for the infringement of EU competition rules. Prices for food differ between member states, explained Margrethe Vestager, Executive Vice President in charge of competition policy. Trade over borders of member states in the internal market can lower prices and increase the availability of products for consumers. This is especially important in times of high inflation. In today's decision, we find that the Mondelez illegally limited cross-border sales across the EU. Mondelez did so to maintain higher prices for its products to the detriment of consumers. We have therefore fined Mondelez €337.5 million. With a presence in more than 150 countries around the world, Mondelez owns brands including Cadbury, Milka, Oreo and Toblerone. Antimicrobial resistance is when bacteria adapt to become resistant to the killing effects of antimicrobials such as antibiotics. This resistance subsequently makes such infections in humans difficult to treat drugs. Iceland Foods has launched a showcase scheme that encourages food and beverage manufacturers to pitch their branded products. Dubbed Brands on Ice, the first quarterly showcase event is set to be held on the 11th of July 2024, where senior figures at Iceland will look for the best in branded new product innovations and developments. Ahead of the first event, the retailer is inviting food and drink manufacturers to submit applications pitching their branded products. Successful applicants will then be invited to showcase their products to Iceland decision makers, including the CEO, Group Buying Director, Trading Category Directors, Marketing Director, Senior Trading Managers, Head of Innovation and Licensing and Merchandising Team. If selected, the product will be rolled out in Iceland and the food warehouse stores, as well as at iceland.co.uk, while the frozen food specialist will invest up to £100,000 into the launch. Iceland and its partners service will also support successful firms with the launch itself and through activation within its stores, online, internationally and with colleagues. Furthermore, for every £100,000 investment made by a supplier, the retailer will invest a further £100,000. Chosen products will be available exclusively through Iceland for an agreed number of weeks before launching into the wider market. Iceland said this is because exclusivity unlocks its ability to invest in the launch and can be the start of a pipeline of continuous exclusive MPD. The pitch itself consists of 6 questions. Exclusivity: what's the opportunity? Your product: why Iceland and what's your target customer? Commercial proposal, including a forecast and growth. Overview of concept/product, including brand tiering. Is there an existing product benchmark? And your trade plan and how you would want to market and activate your product for launch. Commencing on the launch of the scheme, Iceland Head of Innovation and Licensing, Oliver Gilding, said, "We are incredibly pleased to announce Iceland's quarterly showcase for the best in branded new product innovation and development. Our goal is to accelerate the successful launch of branded products within Iceland Foods, the Food Warehouse, and Iceland.co.uk. We will offer bespoke launch plans tailored to each brand's needs, committed to discovering true innovation and providing our customers with unique and exciting ranges. The first quarterly pitching day is set for July 11th, with plans for products to hit shelves by early 2025. If successful, Iceland will invest up to £100,000 in helping it to launch the new products. Brands will also receive comprehensive support, including assistance with manufacturing, branding and activation of the new lines." Nick Stockley, partner at Sussex-based solicitors firm Mayo Wynne Baxter, sheds light on the administration process and lays out the options facing food and drink firms in financial difficulties. According to analysis by law firm Shakespeare Martineau, the manufacturing sector accounted for 11% of UK administrations during 2023. This translated to 186 administrations from across the sector, a 6% increase when compared with the year prior. These statistics paint a compelling picture of the struggles that the manufacturing industry and food and beverage in particular have encountered over the past few years, during which time factors such as Brexit, COVID, geopolitical instability, and the cost of living crisis have had a profound impact. Since the start of 2024, it's been reported that businesses entering administration from categories including bakery, brewing, and plant-based, and given the gusty headwinds that continue to face the food and beverage industry, they are unlikely to be the last. With all that in mind, Stockley has offered advice to firms potentially navigating the prospect of entering administration by laying out the process and the options available. In the vast majority of cases, administration is used to reorganize or realise the assets of insolvent companies. Stockley explained that when a firm is deemed insolvent under the definition of the Insolvency Act 1986, which states that it is either unable to pay its debts or its assets are exceeded by its liabilities, it will seek advice from an insolvency practitioner who will offer administration as a possible option, with the other option likely to be liquidation. This process can occur in 2 ways, either by court order upon a formal application or by the filing of documents at the court hearing by the company, the directors or the holder of a qualifying floating charge over the company's assets. When a company enters administration, an insolvency practitioner is appointed as the company's administrator. The administrator takes over control of the company's business and assets from the company's directors in order to achieve one of the statutory purposes of administration. These 3 purposes are as follows: the rescue of the company as an ongoing concern, the achievement of a better result for the company's creditors as a whole than would be likely if the company were to be wound up, and the realisation of some or all of the company's property to make a distribution to one or more secured or preferential creditors. As soon as reasonably practicable after appointment, the administrator must then send notice of the appointment to the company and the creditors. The administrators must also publish notice of the appointment and advertise the appointment in the Gazette and in any other publication or manner the administrator thinks appropriate. The period of administration can run for up to 12 months, after which it will need to be extended following an application to the court. Once the administration ends, the company will either dissolve or liquidate, depending on circumstances. What are the options once a firm has gone into administration? Once a firm has appointed administrators, they will do what they can to achieve one or more of the purposes of the administration and must carry out their functions in the interests of creditors as a whole, while performing those functions as quickly and efficiently as is reasonably practical. The specific options available will depend on the specific company, and so there is no prescribed list of options. However, the administrators can do any of the following things: in order to achieve one of the objectives for which they have been appointed. They can take control and possession of the company's property. They can sell or otherwise dispose of the company's property and take any necessary steps which will assist in realizing the company's property. They can bring or defend legal proceedings either on behalf of the company or as a result of unlawful transactions by either the company or its directors. They can make any payments necessary to allow the carrying out the administrative functions. They can carry on the company's business. They can take or surrender a lease of any property on behalf of the company. They can make any arrangement or compromise on behalf of the company, and they can investigate the actions and transactions of the company and its directors, making personal claims against the directors for unlawful conduct if necessary. The administrators will invariably both reduce the workforce, scale down the company's operation, and sell the company's assets. Stockley concluded by advising any business that is facing significant financial pressures to seek advice from insolvency professionals sooner rather than later. They may be able to salvage something from these different circumstances, whereas a business that tries to plow on in the hope its situation will improve is much more likely to lose everything. Are plant-based meat and dairy substitutes healthier? Well, yes and no. It depends. A new study investigates which substitutes do best and worst when pitted against animal products. A switch from animal meat and dairy to plant-based substitutes is often considered to be an optimal way to reduce greenhouse gas emissions associated with diet. The nutritional picture is, however, more complex. Some consumers view plant-based substitutes as a healthier option compared with animal-based meats and dairy, and some see these substitutes as ultra-processed and therefore to be avoided. Naturally, the truth is somewhere in between. A new study explores the varying level of health content between different plant-based substitutes, presenting a potential solution for consumer confusion. The study aims to assess the available literature on the health content and environmental impact of plant-based alternatives, with mycoprotein included in said definition, despite coming from the fungi rather than plant kingdom. In high-income countries, including plant-based meat, milk, cheese, egg, and yogurt alternatives, overall, the study analysed 57 peer-reviewed studies and 36 grey literature articles. To mitigate the potential that some of these studies were funded by the industry that produced said plant-based substitutes, a sensitivity analysis was performed. Indeed, studies funded by industry were more likely to find differences in nutrition than those by academia, but the overall trend was the same. The studies which focused on plant-based meat revealed that most meat alternatives had lower saturated fat content, lower energy density, and more fiber than their animal-based cousins. Earlier this year, the World Health Organization, WHO analysed the levels of health in ultra-processed plant-based burgers in Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Lisbon, and London. On the one day, they found that plant-based proteins, albeit low-quantity protein, dietary fibers, and minerals, which can reduce non-communicable disease, NCD, were abundantly present in the burgers. However, the burgers were also high in fat, salt, and calories, which are directly linked to NCD, presenting a more ambiguous health picture. Overall, only 10% of burgers analysed by WHO were considered unhealthy. The lowest energy density and the highest fiber content of all was mycoproteins, while cereal and grain-based meats had the highest energy density, similar to the levels found in meat, poultry, and the lowest fiber content, still significantly higher than meat and poultry. Mycoprotein was also lowest in saturated fat, whereas nut and seed-based meats were found to be the highest, still lower than the saturated fat content of meat and poultry. However, all plant-based meats contain more sugar than meat and poultry, and similar levels of sodium, with the exception of legume-based meats. Mycoprotein had the lowest levels of sugar, whilst nut and seed-based meats had the highest. In terms of micronutrients, some plant-based meats fared better than others. For example, while cereal and grain-based meat alternatives were higher in iron than their plant-based counterparts, animal-based meats generally came out on top when it came to vitamin B12 content. Legume and mycoprotein products usually match plant-based meat for protein. The research also looked at plant-based drinks, finding from 19 studies that plant-based drinks usually had lower energy density and saturated fat and more fiber than their dairy-based counterparts. The lowest energy density was found in coconut-based drinks, whereas the highest was cereal and grain-based, although still not significantly higher than dairy-based drinks. However, coconut-based drinks had the highest levels of saturated fat out of plant-based drinks assessed. Compared to these lowest based on cereals and grains, fruits and vegetables, and nuts and seeds, which had the lowest. In contrast to plant-based meats, most plant-based drinks had lower levels of sugar than dairy milks, especially coconut, legume, and nut and seed-based drinks. Conversely, no plant-based drink matched the iodine content of dairy milks. Plant-based yogurts, on the other hand, showed a higher energy density and a higher sugar and fiber content than dairy-based, while having a lower saturated fat and sodium content. Most plant-based cheeses assessed had a higher energy density and a higher saturated fat content than dairy cheese. Cheese based on nuts and seeds had the highest energy density, and cheese based on coconut oil had the highest saturated fat content, 50% more than dairy cheese. A recent study on plant-based steaks and cold cuts found that they are sometimes low in protein and additionally often contain more carbohydrates than their animal brethren. However, plant-based steaks were found to be comparable with veal samples that were analysed against in terms of essential amino acid content and digestibility. Plant-based cold cuts contained less salt and fewer amino acids than meat cold cuts. However, both plant-based cheese based on nuts and seeds and based on coconut oil had a generally higher fiber content than dairy cheese. Most plant-based cheese had a lower sodium and sugar content, although coconut-based cheese's sodium content was similar to dairy. So which plant-based alternatives came out on top? According to Sarah Najira Espinosa, one of the researchers, swapping out meat for alternatives based on legumes, such as peas and soy, and fungi such as mycoproteins, as well as drinks for those based on legumes and vegetables, such as potatoes, would not only reduce environmental footprints, but boost healthiness. However, some plant-based cheeses, such as those based on coconut oil, did not fare well in the study. As well as the nutritional content, the study also exposed the general health effects of switching to a plant-based diet. In terms of plant-based meats, studies on making the switch to mycoproteins showed a positive response to making the switch, both in healthy and overweight adults. The studies of other plant-based meats also showed positive health outcomes, with reduced weight and risk of cardiovascular disease and improvements in the gut microbiomes. However, when it came to plant-based drinks, the results were more complex. Studies found that those consuming only plant-based drinks had a lower iodine content in their urine and required supplementation. The higher sugar content of plant-based drinks, when compared to dairy, also led to dental decay. While in a great many ways plant-based products are nutritionally superior to animal-based products, it is not that simple. Therefore, the study suggested that we can only use the plant-based transition as a tool to hit health targets if we are being too selective. The study warned against a blanket recommendation of plant-based alternatives, as some are significantly worse when compared to animal-based equivalents. For example, plant-based cheese has 50% more saturated fat than dairy-based. Such variability has the potential to cause consumer confusion, which is why the study suggested front-of-pack labelling and information campaigns to help make nutritional content clearer. We advocate for better guidance in identifying healthy foods for consumers. Currently, plant-based alternatives are regarded as a homogeneous food group with very similar products, and this is a wrong assumption. Whilst many could form part of a healthier and more sustainable diet when used to replace meat and dairy, it is important that it's clear to the consumer which foods and brands this entails. Currently, people might assume all plant-based alternatives are healthy, and they may overcome the not-so-healthy ones, whereas others would stay away from plant-based alternatives altogether, as they think that surely such ultra-processed foods are unhealthy. Neither is helpful if we want people to eat healthier and more sustainable. A simple but clear and effective labelling system that would subcategorize plant-based foods would likely take some doubts away, and we think this would lead to higher uptake of plant-based foods that align with healthier and more sustainable diets. Regulations are also suggested which could push plant-based alternatives to reformulate and ensure optimum nutritional quality. Some techniques which can reduce sugar, improve palatability, and remove anti-nutrients and polyphenols are already available. McCain Foods has donated £35,000 to Ronald McDonald House Charities UK to mark May half-term. The independent charity, which offers accommodation and support for the families of children in hospital, is also celebrating its 35th birthday. Ronald McDonald House operates 14 houses across England, Wales and Scotland, serving more than 500 families each night. The houses keep families together close to their children in hospital while providing a place to sleep, cook and retain some sense of normal life. As well as the financial donation, McCain is extending its support to the charity by gifting Ninja air fryers to all 14 houses, as well as regular donations of frozen potato products and recipe cards. Last year, the Ronald McDonald House conducted a cost of living prices survey of families that had recently stayed at one of its houses, collecting data from 246 parents and carers. The results showed that almost a quarter of families have skipped meals to help make ends meet, while more than 40% have asked family or friends to borrow money. Finally, 91% of respondents agreed that staying in a Ronald McDonald House helped to ease the financial burden of having a child in hospital during the cost of living crisis. "We're so grateful to McCain for giving so generously," said Janet Pennington, Senior Corporate Partnerships Manager at Ronald McDonald House. "We have a long-standing partnership with the company, which has seen their staff volunteer in our houses, take on fundraising challenges, and support our Ghana dinners and golf days. The air fryers will help us to reduce our electricity bills, which have skyrocketed during the energy crisis. But most importantly, the appliances, along with the gifted frozen food, are enabling families to have a bit of normality during difficult times." McCain has supplied hash browns and fries to McDonald's UK, the charity's founding and forever partner, for more than 40 years. The firm's GB regional president, Gillian Moffat, added, "Ronald McDonald House Charities UK is an amazing organisation, and we are honoured to make this donation to help fund their vital work, providing a home-from-home accommodation and support to families with a child in hospital. We work closely with the charity as part of our ongoing community work and have seen firsthand just how much they support struggling families who are going through incredibly difficult times." Major cacao supplier Ofi Olam Food Ingredients has claimed recent developments in data and technology are behind its progress towards creating a more sustainable supply chain. The group's Cacao Compass sustainability ambition is also providing food and beverage companies with enhanced traceability and transparency ahead of new regulations in Europe and beyond, it has claimed in its latest report. The latest report highlights achievements based on 2022 data and includes new analysis showing that over 30,168 farmers in Ofi's cacao supply chain are earning a living income, putting the business on track to reach its 2030 target of 150,000 our farmers earning a livable income. A 395% increase in the number of children receiving educational support in 2022 compared to the 2018 baseline. A 15% increase in the number of households covered by Ofi's Child Labour Monitoring and Remediation System, CLMRS. 6 million trees distributed by Ofi, working with its customers and partners for agroforestry and income diversification from 2018 to 2022. 79% of farms in Ofi's sustainability programs have been polygon mapped. Some of the work has also involved the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Its Indonesia Mission Director Jeff Cohen said, "We are proud to be working together with Ofi and the Hershey Company to encourage cow farmers to adopt more sustainable agricultural practices, like diversifying their crops and allowing more trees to remain on their land, which will strengthen their resilience against climate shocks and improve their livelihoods. Technology is critical to delivering impact with USAID and other partners." Ofi said its latest advancements leveraging the capabilities of its sustainability management system at source. This technology can be available to customers upon request, providing companies with detailed data and insights on where and how their cacao and other Ofi ingredients are sourced, including their social and environmental impact. It also complements specific solutions that Ofi is implementing to prepare for the incoming European deforestation regulations. This technology includes a carbon stock monitoring and measurement tool created in partnership with geospatial specialists and GIS, uses AI-powered analysis to provide high-quality data on forest cover and tree loss to help customers monitor for deforestation, as well as understand how interventions like agroforestry and shade tree planting affect carbon stocks across different plots of land. An award-winning carbon scenario that enables customers to understand the impact of different agricultural practices on GHG emissions and model the most efficient methods for reducing greenhouse gas emissions in their supply chain and delivering on their Scope 3 emissions targets. An updated cacao farmer income tool shows detailed income estimates for a representative sample of farmers in OFI's cacao sustainability programs. The tool provides a clearer picture of where actions on the ground are helping cacao farmers earn more and where customers can partner with OFI on initiatives to help close income gaps. OFI Cacao Managing Director and CEO Tejinder Singh Sarian said the granularity of our data, coupled with our extensive footprint on the ground in origin countries and strong relationships with farmers, means we can continue to move the needle with collaborators like you said. We're also investing in technology to help some of the world's biggest food and beverage brands meet the demand from their consumers for delicious on-trend products with robust sustainability credentials. I'm incredibly grateful that our customers continue to partner with us on our Cacao Compass sustainability journey. Although there are no easy solutions to complex challenges facing cacao farmers and the natural world, I'm proud of the impact we're having together. A new technology that uses light to kill harmful bacteria is being tested by researchers at the University of Birmingham to see how effective it is for tackling a common foodborne diseases. Developed by Italian translation research company BioVitae, the technology uses light at specific wavelengths within the visible spectrum to which microbes are known to be sensitive. Thanks to light being within the visible spectrum, it can be incorporated into light bulbs and continuously sanitize an entire room. BioVitae worked with the university to investigate how effective the technology is in killing bacteria, including E. coli and Listeria. Preliminary results were presented at a conference at the company's headquarters on Tuesday, the 28th May. The team demonstrated how the technology provided a significant reduction in populations of harmful bacteria on different surfaces, including both glass and stainless steel. It suggested the light has potential to offer a non-chemical, sustainable solution for improving food safety and public health. Dr. Helen Onike, Associate Professor of Food Microbiology and Deputy Director of the Birmingham Institute of Sustainability and Climate Action, said the rise of antimicrobial resistance poses a severe threat to global health. Our research with BioVitae visible light technology presents a promising, sustainable solution to reduce microbial contamination. Commenting on the collaboration, BioVitae Chief Executive hopes the technology could offer an active and sustainable contribution to the fight against antimicrobial resistance. Dr. Taghi Muri, Assistant Professor of Sustainable Food Processing in Chemical and Engineering at the University of Birmingham, added, "This technology not only supports better hygiene practices, but also aligns with sustainability goals by offering a non-chemical method to combat pathogens effectively. Antimicrobial resistance is when bacteria adapt to become resistant to the killing effects of antimicrobials, such as antibiotics. This resistance subsequently makes such infections in humans difficult to treat with drugs." Anyone who has seen that governments come and go and has followed current affairs over the past few years will know the UK's challenges will not magically disappear with the change at the top. Whichever party wins the 4th of July general election must still tackle import issues at borders, climate change and the continued impact, cost of living crisis and inflation. On the last 2 points, some would say the danger has passed. However, the economic climate we have faced in the past few years has a long tail. Although raw material and commodity prices are shrinking, businesses and consumers must still budget to include costs significantly higher than for the pandemic. The added costs of Brexit in terms of exporting to the EU and importing from the continent must still be borne. And while there are significant export opportunities outside the EU, building international trade won't replace lost EU revenue anytime soon. All these shocks often have delayed implications. Companies may be able to eat into reserves for a year or two before running on empty and making tough decisions. If they have been holding a tight purse strings, they will now be starting to face the consequences of limiting investment. The same goes for the public. That doesn't account for any imminent curveballs in terms of geopolitical unrest in the Middle East or Eastern Europe. That could mess with supply chains and prices all over again. It doesn't help that Westminster and Whitehall seem to have applied an overly strict definition of PERDA, the period leading up to the election, cancelling all engagement with industry, even on matters essential to trade. With Parliament now dissolved, there have also been no sitting MPs as of yesterday. That means any traders floundering with border issues are getting a little support on queries from DEFRA. The dissolution of Parliament also means outstanding Commons business is now unlikely to be addressed. That includes the controversial introduction of GB-wide not for EU labelling, at least by the 1st of October. It also shelves the fairer labelling consultation. The new government has only a short time before the summer recess, as the new parliament has been called to meet on the 9th of July. State opening of parliament and the King's speech will follow on the 17th of July, just 5 days before recess and no return until the autumn. So what can the food industry expect from the general election? By all accounts, the polls that matter have Labour leading by a significant amount, yet given our voting system, Labour would have to win by a landslide to secure a decent majority of seats. That also depends on a good voter turnout. The hung parliament is not completely out of the question if the Conservatives stage a strong enough campaign. Whoever wins the day will be working with limited coffers, which in theory means they could lean on the food sector more to get things done. Growing the economy and keeping inflation stable remains a core consideration. Equally, dealing with climate impact and the environmental agenda will be a priority for parliamentary business, if not political campaigning. Regardless of what happens to the fairer labelling consultation, food labelling to highlight eco-friendly and healthy eating credentials and animal welfare concerns will rank highly, as will the wider health agenda, as health lobbyists are pushing ultra-processed food concerns to the top of the list. Ultimately, all we can do is sit tight and wait and re-engage with government as soon as we get a chance. Beleaguered is perhaps too strong an adjective to describe the forthcoming European Union Deforestation Regulations EUDR, but when the bloc's Director General for Trade goes on record as describing its current state as extremely burdensome, then Brussels may have a problem with its new law. This publication has sent a list of questions to the European Commission spokesperson service for clarity regarding the EUDR's impact on the cacao sector. However, these queries have remained unanswered, raising concerns about transparency of the process. In accordance with the EUDR, operators dealing with cacao and other commodities such as coffee, cattle oil, palm, rubber, soy and wood must provide sufficient evidence of non-deforestation in the crops where their products are sourced from as far back as the 31st of December 2020. Products that do not meet the new due diligence requirements are prohibited from commercialisation in the EU market after the 30th of December 2024. The news reported EU Commission Policy Officer Zoe Drugel's comments at Amsterdam Cacao Week in February that there was no plan B, despite the most significant unknown being the impact of the new rules on farmers. She reassured the cacao sector that Team Europe would be issuing further guidance, which has not yet been forthcoming. In an exclusive, Palm Oil Monitor has reported that Sabine Weyand, the European Commission's Director General for Trade, bluntly questioned the bloc's handling of the EUDR with its trading partners. It revealed that at an event at the Institute for International and European Affairs, she acknowledged that the EUDR and its approach to trade and sustainability had created significant problems for its standing in the world. We should learn some lessons from the opposition we are currently facing with respect to the deforestation regulations. We have to recognise that the means are extremely burdensome and difficult to meet for developing countries, and notably for small and medium-sized businesses and smallholders in these countries. Palm Oil Monitor said the comments come from a leaked internal EU briefing from the Commission's Director General for International Partnerships, which also took a swing at the EU's approach to trade and environment and its impact on our trade partners. The document says the EU should thoroughly assess the impact of EU environmental regulations on our partners and mitigate negative externalities. Going forward, it will be key to assess environmental regulations before these are agreed upon in a holistic manner, better considering their cumulative impacts, particularly on partner countries. The 46 least developed countries are, for instance, important partners for the EU when it comes to our geopolitical positioning. Writing in the Financial Times, Alan Beatty was highly critical of the Brussels approach, comparing it to colonial-era policies. Indonesian accusations of oppression by Europeans are being aired again, this time over Brussels' demands that palm oil producers prove that their exports to the EU do not cause deforestation. Indonesia won its independence from the Netherlands, which, like the rest of Western Europe, raised most of its forests centuries ago in the process of getting rich in a war in the 1940s. But the country's palm oil producers are still being forced to follow rules dictated in Europe. Large-scale foreign-owned producers such as Sofrin will almost certainly find it easier to comply than with Indonesian smallholders. Weyand also acknowledged that the EU's approach on sustainability in trade agreements is effectively halting progress on the Indonesian-EU FTFA, the Free Trade Agreement. According to Palm Oil Monitor, the reason is the EU's sanctions-based approach in the FTAs where the EU adds an additional compliance burden for partners based on sustainability. John Clark, the former Director of International Relations at the European Commission, also contributed to the debate with a recent opinion piece in Euronews. The EU must moderate the sustainability aspect of its FDA's agenda and engage with partners on climate and environmental challenges, of which farmers are first victims. Palm Oil Monitor said there's much at stake for Brussels now, and the divisions within the EU Commission appear to be getting wider on the EUDR as the election approaches. Supermarket giant Tesco is trialling the use of laser-edged labels on its extra-large avocado range as part of plans to reduce plastic and the environmental impact of the line. High-powered lasers remove a tiny section of the top layer of skin if extra-large avocados are sold by the retailer. Supplier Westphalia Fruit said avocados were the candidate for the new tech due to the thickness of the fruit's outer skin, a process that takes less than a third of a second. Etching the fruit sizing label into the skin of the fruit has no effect on the quality, shelf life, and taste of fruit, according to Westphalia. Tesco said it had started finding the next labelling method on avocados as they gave it the most visual impact. It is also trialling replacing the plastic tray packaging for two of its most popular avocado lines with a cardboard container that is easier to recycle. The new laser-edged fruits will appear in about 270 Tesco stores in the southeast of England, with plans to roll out across the entire estate should the trial prove successful. Tesco avocado buyer Lisa Gilby said, "We're always looking for innovative ways to reduce the environmental impact of our products and cut down on plastic waste in the home through changes to our packaging. We're really excited to hear customer feedback on our new laser-edged avocados, avoiding the need for a barcode sticker that can be easily forgotten and left on when recycling it through household food waste. Should the changes be rolled out to all Tesco stores, the retailer claimed it would save more than 20 million pieces of plastic tray packaging from the twin-pack avocado alone, increasing up to 25 million pieces across the pre-packed range. Further, it would also save nearly 1 million plastic stickers on its loose extra-large avocados, based on the current sales information provided by the supplier. Westphalia Fruit General Manager Graham Isaac said its main priorities were to reduce and, wherever possible, remove plastic from its packaging to contribute to solving the plastic waste challenge. We are confident that with a clear focus and united effort, as an industry, we will be able to significantly reduce our waste, use natural resources responsibly, and protect the environment and biodiversity for all of our futures." A new impact investment partnership, Women for Chocolate, has launched in Ghana to ensure the success of women cacao farmers. The collaboration between the Seattle Chocolate Company, Specialty Cacao and Chocolate Associates, African Cacao Marketplace, Three Mountains Cacao, and Ricolto Ghana has brought a new level of support for the country's female cacao farmers. Steered by Seattle Chocolate's women-powered ethos and support for women and girls locally and globally, its driving force was behind the collaboration, and its successful first phase has now led to a second round of impact investment. In the startup phase, Specialty Cacao and Chocolate Associates worked with Seattle Chocolate to strategize the company's first impact investment in West Africa. Increased access to water and improved planting materials were identified as top priorities. New startup African Cacao Marketplace then led project implementation with Cacao MMAA and Three Mountains Cacao Cooperatives. Earlier this year, Seattle Chocolate owner and CEO John Thompson and brand manager Ellie Thompson visited Ghana to see the results of these impact investments in the Three Mountains community of Takie Krom in Ashanti region, which included a refurbished borehole, a new borehole, and a new seedling nursery. Thompson said it was a long journey from Seattle to the Three Mountains Cacao Cooperative, and it enabled us to better understand the challenges farmers face operating in such remote locations. It was an honour to be there with the entire community to christen the new well and seedling nursery. Being there and speaking with farmers, we could really feel the immense impact these investments will make in their lives every day. It was so gratifying to use some of the profits from the sale of chocolate in the USA to help the hard-working farmers in Ghana. For the second phase, Seattle Chocolate is co-founding an innovative capacity-building partnership with Ricolto Ghana. This phase builds upon Ricolto's ongoing cacao program in Ghana, which is supported by the Belgian Directorate General for Development, Cooperation and Humanitarian Aid, DGD. Women for Chocolate will be carried out in collaboration with Three Mountains Cacao and their farmer groups. A special emphasis will be placed on assisting widows and other financially disadvantaged people with skills to help them prosper. These Three Mountains cacao founder Leslie Agaye said, hosting chocolate makers from Seattle here in Ghana, we were able to share the first-hand realities of cacao cultivation and the challenges farmers face. The community's appreciation for the new borehole and seedling nursery, with ceremony and song, showcased the positive reciprocal impact of these investments. The Federal Association of the German Confectionery Industry, BDSI, is specifically demanding a set of measures for future European legislation. It recommends revitalising and strengthening the internal market concept in European legislation. Consistent action by the EU Commission against national unilateral actions that threatens to restrict the free movement of goods and, in particular, the marketing of products from other member states. And 3, restoring a good balance between the free movement of goods and national consumer and health protection, in line with a key case law of the European Court of Justice. Just over 20 years ago, the European Union was enlarged to include 10 Central and Eastern European countries, a decisive step towards European unity and prosperity in Europe. The BDSI recognises that this has not only benefited the German confectionery industry, which has since invested in Eastern Europe and expanded cross-border trade, but also that producers in Eastern Europe have also found and continue to find new markets in the European Union thanks to harmonised legal frame. However, it claims the BDSI there have been a worrying trend in recent years, with the single market becoming increasingly fragmented by inconsistent national laws under the guise of consumer protection. It says that this fragmentation threatens the very essence of the European idea, the free movement of goods and the participation of small and medium-sized enterprises in the economic development of other member states. On the 20th anniversary of the EU's eastward expansion and shortly before the European elections, we are at a turning point. It is high time to take action against the erosion of the internal market and to strengthen the uniform legal framework, says Dr. Carsten Bernoth, Managing Director of BDSI. Whereas in the past the main focus was on language barriers, there are now a large number of different national regulations, for example with regard to requirements for declarations packaging. In a major update, Nestlé says its Income Accelerator program is helping cacao farmers substantially improve cacao productivity and increase their net income. According to a report published by Kit Institute, high-quality pruning of Income Accelerator cacao farms contributed to a 32% increase in cacao yields. The total net income of Income Accelerator households rose by 38%, resulting in a higher proportion of these households achieving a living income. The Kit Institute said its report is based on a study conducted over the first 18 months of the Income Accelerator program, in which a sample of 2,000 households spanning 28 cooperatives in Côte d'Ivoire were examined. The test scale of Nestlé's Income Accelerator program has confirmed the initial results we saw in the pilot phase, said Daryl High, Global Cacao Manager at Nestlé. The program is transforming the way cacao is farmed by professionalising labour and ensuring trees are pruned. It is great to see that these professionally pruned farms deliver higher yields, which translate to higher income for cacao farming families. By putting the family at the centre of the program, we empower women who are supporting their children's education and are pursuing opportunities to diversify their households' income. The study additionally found that Nestlé's program has effectively mitigated diseases and pests on farms, thanks to the implementation of good agricultural practices. The program has facilitated income diversification, promoted financial access, and positively influenced women empowerment and child schooling rates. Nestlé said school enrollment is a key focus area of the Income Accelerator program, and the proportion of children attending school increased by 10% versus 5 points in the comparison group. Furthermore, the confectionery giant claimed there has been a remarkable surge in the proportion of households investing in small businesses such as agro-processing, boutiques, barbershops, or soap making. According to the news data, the increase is more than doubled, rising from 21% in 2022 to 55% in 2023. Nestlé clarified that at the time of the study, these activities were still in an exploratory phase and had not yet generated significant income changes. We are continuing to gather feedback from the farming families to learn and adapt the program accordingly. We're excited to have started to scale the program to 30,000 farming households and will continue to support on our progress. The Hershey Company reported an uptick in sales, income and earnings per share when it announced net sales and earnings for the first quarter ended 31st March 2024. Hershey also reaffirmed its 2024 net sales and earnings outlook and said profits were up by over 20%, with operating profits also up over 32% at over $1 billion. The company stated that this increase was driven by sales growth, price realization, productivity, and derivative mark-to-market gains, which more than offset commodity inflation, higher brand investment, business realignment activities, and acquisition and integration-related costs. Analysts at TradingView.com said this likely reflected that companies like Hershey and Mondelez, who reported results earlier in the week, had recovered mainly from the historically high cow prices experienced earlier this year. This, plus Easter chocolate sales, boosted profits compared with Q4 earnings. We are off to a strong start and remain on track to deliver our business strategies and financial commitments for the year, said Michelle Butt, the Hershey Company President and Chief Executive Officer. Our investments in innovation, marketing, and in-store execution are driving consumer engagement and improving market share performance across segments. We're successfully operating in our new ERP system, a major milestone towards achieving our previously announced agility and efficiency targets. As we continue to navigate recent volatility in the business, we remain committed to strategies that drive long-term growth and sustainable value creation. The North America Confectionery segment reported segment income of $948.2 million in the first quarter of 2024, an increase of 6.8% versus the prior year period. This resulted in a segment margin of 35% in the quarter, at a decrease of 120 basis points. Segment income gains were driven by higher sales, while margin declines were driven by increased commodity costs, outpacing price realization and productivity. Hershey confirmed that segment net sales were $2,707.3 million in the first quarter of 2024, an increase of 10.4% versus the same period last year. Growth was driven primarily by accelerated shipments related to the company's April ERP implementation, which came in ahead of expectations and is expected to reverse in the second quarter. Excluding inventory, sales grew low single digits, in line with expectations as gains from price realization were offset by conversion-related volume declines. The company's US candy, mint, and gum, as CMG, retail takeaway in the multi-outlet plus convenience store channels, increased 1.1% for the 12-week period ended April 14, 2024. This 12-week period includes the full Easter season in both the current and year-ago periods, enabling a more accurate year-on-year comparisons. Hershey's CMG share declined 10 basis points compared to the prior year. Organic net sales growth outpaced retail takeaway due to accelerated shipments, supporting the company's ERP implementation in early April. According to the TradingView.com, the company stuck to its financial forecast at 2024 figures, which included disappointingly flat sales figures and a zero increase in earnings. This current guidance included 2 to 3% net sales growth for 2024 and a 0% increase to both EPS and adjusted EPS growth. This is unlikely to impress investors, but also will likely do no damage to Hershey's stock price, as this was the previously communicated outlook as well and represents no massive shock to shareholders. The highlights for the first quarter for Hershey include consolidated net sales of $3,252.7 million, an increase of 8.9%. Organic constant currency net sales increased by 8.6%. A reported net income of $797.5 million, or $3.89 per share diluted, an increase of 36.5%. And adjusted earnings per share diluted of $3.07, an increase of 3.7%. Endangered Species Chocolate ESC is set to captivate the snacking world by unveiling Dip and Joy, a one-of-a-kind interactive chocolate experience at the Sweet and Snacks Expo 2024 in Indianapolis. As an Indianapolis-based brand, ESC will make the most of hometown exposure when more than 16,000 attendees are expected to descend on the visiting 1,000 exhibitors across 250,000 square feet show floor at the Indianapolis Convention Center in Indianapolis, Indiana, from the 14th to the 16th of May. ESC says it is on a mission to sweeten the world while protecting it by donating 10% of net profits to species, habitats, and humanity. The sustainable premium brand claims that Dip and Joy is not your average chocolate treat. It's a snacking adventure waiting to happen. Picture this: 3 luscious dark chocolate batons, the kind ESC fans already swoon over, diving headfirst into a pool of decadent peanut butter, almond butter, or salted caramel. Chief Revenue Officer Whitney Bebelbitner said, "We're not just launching a chocolate snack, we're unveiling an experience. Dip and Joy lets you indulge in a chocolatey escapade and embodies our commitment to spreading joy and positivity in every delicious bite. Each flavour of Dip and Joy retails at $3.79, contains 3 dark chocolate batons and a pool of delicious dip, and upholds ESC's commitment to Cacao Horizons, non-GMO, gluten-free and kosher dairy certified products, ensuring the highest quality. After a topsy-turvy week, wild cacao prices recovered on Tuesday after registering losses of more than 20% the week prior, but the market is still struggling with a lull in trading. Cacao's run this year means traders have had to come up with more money to pay margin calls, forcing them to close out positions. According to the exchange data compiled by Bloomberg, the aggregate open interest in New York cacao, or the number of outstanding contracts, has fallen to the lowest since 2011. Before the recent market turndown, cacao futures, which serve as a global benchmark for bean pricing, had surged in value this year. This was largely due to adverse weather conditions and disease outbreaks in key cacao producers, Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana. Nigeria, another major producer, reported a rise in cacao exports, further adding to overall supply. These factors led to a price correction, with cacao futures dropping over 25% in just 2 days, said Bernard Kidao Angchang, OFI cacao sourcing officer. In April, futures almost hit an eye-watering at $12,000 a tonne, but they have since slid to near $7,500, offering some relief to buyers. Jim Romer, a respected meteorologist and commodity trading advisor, warned a few weeks ago that investing in cacao during a 400% rally would be a grave error. He predicted prices could mirror the infamous tulip craze of the 1600s. He explained in his newsletter that Dutch tulip trading is the first well-documented speculative commodity bubble. The same thing has just happened to cacao prices. For cacao, this is the first time of the year that the smaller West African mid-crop hits the market. This often results in hedge fund selling occurring ahead of and during harvest. He argued that most of the bullishness in cacao was already built into prices. This is something I have been preaching to my newsletter clients for a couple of months. That the seasonals would ultimately become bearish, believing that a market asset or financial instrument is going to experience a downward trajectory for cacao. Reuters reported that cacao's ascent left many physical market players out of pocket and has even driven hedge funds away, dealers said, leaving the futures market in the hands of algorithmic funds programmed to follow similar technical signals. Without liquidity, these funds exaggerate price swings on both the upside and downside. Buying more physical cacao would require traders to hedge their purchases in the futures market, just as a spike in volatility forces them to put up more money to cover margin calls. Is there a concrete bit of news that drove the market here? No. Jonathan Potman, head of agriculture share sales at Marex, says the current cash crunch is now forcing traders to delay purchases from the top producing countries such as Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire, which means already struggling farmers won't be paid. The good news is that recent rains in West Africa could boost the mid-crop harvest, and both countries have reportedly raised the price paid to farmers in a bid for them to grow more, increasing the supply of beans back to the market. When Mondelez International searches externally for savoury snack and confectionery innovation, what kinds of startups is it looking for? Mondelez International doesn't always innovate in-house. The snacks major also keeps an eye on the startup landscape, and when it finds a good fit, invests by its corporate venture arm, Snack Futures Ventures. When investments in consumer packaged goods (CPG) startups are made, it's with a view to acquiring that business. The snacks major has made some noteworthy acquisitions in recent years, including paying $2 billion or €1.87 billion for croissant and baked snacks maker Chipita, $2.9 billion for snacks bar brand Cliff Bar and Company, and $1.3 billion for confectionery business Ricolino. So how does Mondelez choose its investments? The snack giant selects businesses with potential to be really disruptive in the snacking space, according to Richie Gray, global head of Snack Futures Ventures, because ultimately we would see that being part of the Mondelez portfolio in the future. Although well known for its confectionery portfolio, Mondelez owns big-name chocolate brands such as Cadbury, Milka, and Toblerone, amongst others. The company sees itself first and foremost as a snacking company. We aim to be the biggest snacking company in the world, and our purpose is around making the right snacks for the right occasion, targeting the right people, explained Gray, who works out of Mondelez's European headquarters in Switzerland. For Mondelez, confectionery falls under the snacks umbrella, So when the company looks for innovations in the snacking category, it could mean anything from confectionery to chocolate biscuits, baked snacks, bars, cakes, and pastries. Snacking is quite broad, and actually that's the beauty of it. It's why we chose to be unashamedly a snacking company, because it's such a massive space to play in. As to the size of the startup, CPGs Mondelez might be interested in investing in, it's mostly going for later stage businesses. The company wants to see real signs of traction, success, and scaling up. Do snacking investments need to be healthy? Health, nutrition, and sustainability are table stakes for Mondelez's investment criteria. On the health and nutrition side of things, the company is invested in mindful snacking. According to Mondelez's most recent State of Snacking report, 67% of respondents are looking for snacks that are portion controlled, and 70% would rather have a small portion of indulgent snack instead of a bigger portion of a low-fat/sugar alternative version. There is still a role for indulgence, said Gray. We talk about permissible indulgence, meaning brands or products that are still tasty, still about an indulgent moment, but delivered in a healthier way with less sugar and less fat. The real sweet spot comes when you find businesses that are really delivering on the health credentials, that are also delivering on taste, because taste is still paramount in the snacking world. When assessing fat, sugar, and salt content in a product, the company uses the Nutri model used to identify HFSS products in the UK, and also uses Nutri-Score as a guideline. Mondelez is very aware of clean label too. The company has observed consumers reading products back of pack information more than ever, and wants to make sure it's hitting the mark with recognizable ingredients. Real nutrition or functional snacking is also on Mondelez's radar. Gut health is really taking hold within snacking, and I'm quite interested in the area of personalization when it comes to snacking choices. Sustainable snacking, from ingredients to packaging. When looking to invest in snacking startups, environmental sustainability is also front of mind for the Snap Futures Ventures team. Consumers want sustainable ingredients that are responsibly sourced and transported. This is reflected in Mondelez's State of Snacking report, which found that 54% of respondents are making an effort to eat more plant-based snacks. We're always interested in businesses that generally have a low carbon footprint, are using less water, or are supporting regenerative agriculture. But it's not all about ingredients. Packaging is a sustainability concern for consumers who increasingly want less plastic in their snack wrappers. According to Mondelez research, consumers want to snack with purpose. Close to 3/4 at 74% of consumers typically recycle their snack packaging, and 67% said they prioritize snacks that have less plastic packaging. Packaging is also related to convenience. Mondelez has long recognized convenience as a mega trend in the snacking, so much so that these days it's almost a given that its snack formats be easy to consume, according to Gray. But looking beyond convenience, Snap Futures Ventures is also interested in packaging capable of either enhancing the overall consumption experience or making a product more luxurious. Mondelez's corporate venture arm already has a number of startups in its portfolio, and not all are CPGs. The company is also investing in technology companies, which it sometimes approaches with a different aim. When we invest in technologies, it's not necessarily about acquisition. It's about finding the right technologies to partner with, and the investment is more a means to an end in that case. On the CPG side of things, Mondelez has invested in early-stage startup Craze, which makes snacks based on reapers, a northern South American dish made from ground maize dough stuffed with filling. It's a tortilla type of product with some really innovative, unusual flavors, including banana, coconut, and guava. It's a unique product with a unique process to develop it. We see it as having the potential to really disrupt the cracker space. The snacks giant also invested in and has since fully acquired US-based premium vegan chocolate brand Goon. Mondelez is also investing in B2B startups such as Israel-headquartered cell-based cow startup Celeste Bio and snacking technology startup Tor Food Tech. The format has potential to improve sustainability and reduce cost of cow. We'll continue to monitor and work in the regulatory landscape associated with that one. Tor Food Tech, which wields ingredients to replace sugar binders in snacks, can already be applied to Mondelez snacks portfolio. That technology allows you to create a snack bar with no added sugar, because you don't require anything to bind the ingredients. These are examples of enabling technologies, and we're certainly looking for more examples like that in this space. Gummy supplement manufacturer Top Gun Industries has announced it is launching a new clean label iron gum formula with no metallic aftertaste or added sugar. Iron gum is the latest addition to Top Gun's gummaceutical line which helps people overcome obstacles to iron supplements. Vegan gummies do not have a metal-like taste, which is typical of iron supplements, the company claimed. Their pleasing flavour and smooth textured element eliminates the need for consumers to swallow large pills. Iron Gum combines technologies to deliver a high-dose iron supplement without the unpleasant metallic aftertaste. The patent-pending gummaceutical technology makes great-tasting chewable gummies with no added sugar, said Dora Deloyer, Chief Product Officer for Top Gum. The formula uses fructooligosaccharides (FOS) fibers, which are plant-biotic dietary fibers with natural sweetness. FOS fibers get digested only once they reach the colon. These natural prebiotic fibers ease digestion and enhance nutrient absorption. He added that the proprietary Top Cap's micro-encapsulation system masks unpleasant flavours, while efficiently supplying iron and other active ingredients. We have applied our proprietary capabilities to design clean label gummies without adding sugar, artificial sweeteners, or sugar alcohols. We only use natural colours and flavours. Our vegan pectin-based formula further sets our non-GMO iron gum products apart. Nestlé has launched a new Sharo marketing campaign in the UK and Ireland with an on-pack promotion that will see more than 33,000 sharing bars of Aero Peppermint up for grabs. The original bubbly chocolate brand promotion opened this week and will run until the 21st of July. Participating is as easy as scanning the QR code on the back promotional packs to visit the website. There you'll be asked to enter your details and the last 4 digits of your pack barcode to find out instantly if you've won. It's that simple. Lucky winners will receive a bubbly bar of Peppermint Aero in a special gift box through the post, which they can share with friends, family, colleagues, or whoever they choose. This is our biggest promotion yet, and there's a lot of Aero chocolate to be won and shared, said Michael Cahoe, Aero Assistant Brand Manager. We wanted to do something that would encourage people to get together and share their Aero. The prizes come in a lovely gift box with a card included that people can dedicate to whoever they would like. As part of the Sharo campaign, a range of Aero melts, bubbles, and sharing bars will also be wrapped in exclusive limited edition pack designs. These designs feature special phrases about why people might want to share their Aero, adding a touch of exclusivity to your chocolate experience. The annual Sweets and Snacks Expo convenes thousands of confectionery and snack industry professionals, hundreds of chocolate and candy companies for the largest trade event in North America. After 25 years in Chicago, it is moving on to a new home in Indianapolis. The NCA John Downs explains why. How do you describe the Sweet and Snacks Expo? It's clear from the moment you arrive on the show floor, the Sweets and Snacks Expo is the centre of the candy and snack universe. Our show is the largest candy and snack event in the Americas and is uniquely positioned to convene 2 dynamic and exciting categories: retailers, manufacturers, brokers, and suppliers alike, for an action-packed week of education sessions, networking opportunities, and key insights. This year, we'll have more than 16,000 attendees visiting 1,000 exhibitors across 250,000 square feet of show floor. And for Indianapolis Colts fans, that's about 5 Lucas Oil Stadium football fields. Why did the show move? We have a big and bold opportunity with our great strategic partners in Indianapolis, including the Governor of Indiana, the Mayor of Indianapolis, and the Visit Indy team. It is unquestionably the right city to meet the growing demands for our show and enable us to continue to provide the innovation, insights, and connections that our community wants and needs. Indianapolis has hosted many top-tier events successfully, and now Sweets and Snacks joins the ranks of these world-class events. What are the most exciting parts of moving to Indianapolis? We have built such a strong sense of community over nearly 3 decades, and attending the show is always a vibrant experience. But our new location gives us opportunities outside of the convention center as well, including attending an official Indy 500 practice session, a truly only in Indy experience that simply can't be replicated. What is the value of the show for attendees? With the entirety of the candy and snack industries under one roof, there is no better way to build business connections than by being at the show. Top industry experts will be at the show to provide invaluable insights to our attendees with an education series that is second to none. And of course, countless innovative candy and snack products will debut at Sweet and Snacks Expo, making it a very flavorful experience. What is the strategic advantage of attending the show? The opportunity for both exhibitors and retail attendees is unmatched. This show has become a vital part of the decision-making process for retailers of all sizes, allowing them to stay ahead of trends as they seek products to delight consumers. There is no better place for exhibitors to showcase their products than at Sweets and Snacks, especially as the show continues to grow into the future. Warheads, a brand of Impact Confectionery Incorporated, has launched Sour Berry Mix Cubes, a sweet addition to its #1 selling chewy line. The Wisconsin-based company said these 6-sided sour and sweet sensations burst with berry goodness and make for an addicting sour experience. Impact Confections has been a confectioner leader since 1985, when its original extreme sour hard candy was introduced into the USA. By tapping into 90s nostalgia and continuing to innovate their lineup, Warheads remains a sought-out candy for super sour fanatics. With over 2.7 million followers on social media and worldwide distribution, the company said it learned and leaned on its fans, asking for requests on flavour innovation. While berry was an easy choice to add to the assortment, we still leaned on Warheads fans to give them what they want, said Lindsay Carlin, VP of Marketing and Product Development at Impact Confections. The Warheads consumer wants 2 things: fun, fruity flavours and sour. Sour berry cubes not only meet their flavour expectations, but provide a new experience in our fan favourite cubes shape. Dairy-free chocolate maker Move Free is strengthening its sustainability credentials with the launch of the Hub, a business tool offering the manufacturer complete traceability across its supply chain. Developed after a 2014 investment in traceability technology, the system has evolved over time to accommodate the business's changing requirements. Move Free said that the Hub holds information such as product makeups and recipe formulations to raw materials and packaging, and feeds into the planning tool to manage usage and stock levels. It logs all traceability information from raw materials to finished goods and holds all historical sales data by customer, by line, as well as all orders, shipments, and invoicing. The Hub is a new program developed to aid the running of Move Free, explained Louise Adams, Move Free's technical director. Installing the technology was vital to ensure we had close controls over all of our raw materials and finished goods. Co-founder Mike Jessup continued to develop the system with input from department heads and operators to keep up with Move Free's ongoing growth and create a better user experience, quicker information gathering, and seamless processes to manage all aspects of business. Move Free's traceability process also includes supplier auditing to ensure suppliers meet the company's brand standards, product recipe makeup management, raw material, raw ingredient intake management, production line and operator information, best before dates of ingredients, production units, and dispatch management to end customers. Adams said the system has proven invaluable to the business, especially when it is required to complete traceability exercises. The system allows both forward and backward traceability of raw materials, packaging, and finished goods. The trace data is captured throughout the production process and onto the dispatch of products linked to customer orders. This is all achievable instantly within a few clicks of the Hub. The amount of time this has saved is unmeasurable, and the days of trying to reconcile archived paperwork are thankfully a thing of the past. From creamy chocolates to chewy candies, plant-based options are paving the way for a more inclusive and passionate approach to snacking that caters to the diverse tastes and preferences of consumers worldwide. We look at some of the key trends. Exploring diversity in taste. One of the most remarkable aspects of plant-based confectionery is its ability to cater to a wide range of taste preferences, whether you crave the rich, indulgent flavour of dark chocolate or prefer the subtle sweetness of fruit-based candies. There is a plant-based treat to satisfy every palate. Manufacturers are harnessing the natural flavours of ingredients like nuts, fruits, and spices to create confections that are as tantalising to the taste buds as they are guilt-free. Innovation in texture. Texture plays a crucial role in the enjoyment of confectionery, and plant-based alternatives are rising to the challenge, with innovative formulations from velvety truffles to crispy rice treats. Plant-based confections offer a diverse array of textures that rival their traditional counterparts. Ingredients like coconut oil, almond flour, and aquafaba, the liquid from canned chickpeas, are used to achieve the perfect balance of chewiness, creaminess, and crunch, ensuring that every bite is a delight. Meeting dietary needs. In addition to catering to diverse taste preferences, plant-based confectionery also addresses the dietary needs of a growing number of consumers. Whether due to ethical concerns, health reasons, or food allergies, many people are seeking alternatives to traditional animal-based sweets. Plant-based options provide a guilt-free indulgence that is free from animal products, making them suitable for vegans, vegetarians, and those lactose or gluten intolerances. Environmental sustainability. Beyond taste and dietary considerations, the rise of plant-based confectionery is driven by a growing awareness of the environmental impact of food production. The cultivation of plant-based ingredients typically requires fewer resources and produces fewer greenhouse gas emissions than animal agriculture, making plant-based confections a more sustainable choice for environmentally conscious consumers. By opting for plant-based sweets, consumers can satisfy their cravings while reducing their carbon footprint. Global flavours. During research for this special edition, they found that the appeal of plant-based confectionery extends beyond its taste and sustainability credentials. It also reflects the rich tapestry of culinary traditions from around the world, from the creamy coconut-infused sweets of Southeast Asia to the aromatic spices of the Middle East. Plant-based confections draw inspiration from a diverse array of cultural influences. By embracing these global flavours, manufacturers are not only expanding their product offerings, but also celebrating the rich heritage of confectionery craftsmanship. The sweet revolution. As consumers become increasingly discerning in their food choices, plant-based confectionery has emerged as a versatile and inclusive option that caters to diverse tastes, dietary needs, and environmental concerns. With its wide range of flavours, textures, and cultural influences, plant-based sweets offer a deliciously satisfying experience that resonates with the palate and the conscious alike. As the sweet revolution continues to gain momentum, plant-based confectionery is poised to become a staple indulgence for consumers around the globe. Mondelez International has maintained the company expects organic net revenue growth of 3% to 5% in its 2024 outlook after the Cadbury parent beat market expectations for the first quarter sales and profits. The firm posted net sales of $9.29 billion for the first quarter, beating analysts' average estimate of $9.16 billion. This was due to consistent demand for chocolates and salted snacks despite rising costs. In a call to analysts and media, Dirk van der Poot, Mondelez International Chair and CEO, said, "We posted solid top-line results in the first quarter, coupled with strong earnings and free cash flow generation. We continue to see momentum in emerging markets, where consumer confidence remains strong and our categories remain resilient." Van der Poot acknowledged the challenges faced in the quarter, including disruptions with European clients and the boycott of Western products in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. However, he emphasized the company's resilience, stating that these were one-off factors that did not undermine the overall performance. "We delivered another quarter of strong gross profit dollar growth through ongoing cost discipline and sound pricing." Van der Poot confirmed Mondelez continues accelerating its strategy of global stacking leadership and driving sustainable long-term growth. He underscored the company's commitment to growth, stating, "We are continuing to make significant investments in our brands and capabilities, driving distribution gains and leveraging synergies from our recently acquired assets. This strategic approach is designed to inspire confidence in the company's future." During a continued operating environment that he described as challenging and dynamic, he said the company is focused and agile in dealing with the short term and executing against its long-term growth strategy. While surprising but temporary, the cacao inflation does not affect the fact that our categories remain durable and our growth opportunities remain sizable. Zach Stanmore, senior analyst with eMarketer, told Reuters, "While Mondelez has strong brands in resilient categories such as chocolate and biscuits, consumers will trade down if prices rise too highly." Quarter 1 highlights. Net revenue increased plus 1.4%, driven by organic net growth. Revenue of 4.2% with underlying volume mix of minus 2.1%. Diluted EPS was $1.04, down 31.6%. Adjusted EPS was $0.95, up 16.3% on a constant currency basis. Cash provided by operating activities was $1.3 billion, up $0.2 billion versus prior year. Free cash flow was $1.0 billion, up $0.1 billion versus previous year. And return of capital to shareholders was $1.1 billion. Dutch distributor brand Tony's Chocolonely is partnering with Oxfam and Glastonbury for a second year to raise money to buy property by launching limited edition bars that offer fans the opportunity to win tickets to the legendary Arts and Music Festival. Following the success of last year's partnership, Tony's Chocolonely, the impact brand on a mission to end exploitation in cacao, has once again partnered with Glastonbury Festival organisers to give away 5 pairs of tickets to the festival. The tickets will be hidden in limited edition bars that will raise money for the international poverty fighting organisation Oxfam. Last year's joint initiative raised almost £45,000 for Oxfam's work in combating poverty and inequality, an issue deeply intertwined with Tony's mission of providing a living income for cow farmers. Eager to amplify the impact, the three partners are aiming to surpass last year's achievements and connect with a wider audience. Tony's Chocolonely has also announced it is adding a vegan flavour to the mix, extending the opportunity for more fans to enjoy a Tony's treat while trying to find a pair of highly sought-after tickets to the sold-out Glastonbury Festival 2024. Nicola Matthews, UK Head of Marketing at Tony's Chocolonely, said, "At Tony's, we understand that lasting change happens when we join forces with those who bring us closer to making our mission a reality. It's been amazing to see how partnerships made a real difference last year, and we're excited to keep the momentum going and make an even bigger impact this year." Oxfam and Glastonbury are partners to raise awareness for many issues that continuously affect our world. The Confectionery x Tony's Chocolonely limited edition bars will be available in all Oxfam stores and on the Oxfam online shop while stocks last. There are 5 Choco coupons in the bars, which can each be redeemed for 2 tickets to Glastonbury Festival 2024. Choco coupons must be redeemed for festival tickets by Friday the 21st of June 2024. And you have to visit Glastonbury's terms and conditions or tonyschocolaonly.com to find out more to do with the terms and conditions. In the latest edition of All in a Day's Work, Hunter & Gather co-founder and CEO Amy Mooring discusses her career in food and drink to date and sheds light on her goals for the future. She is age 32 and is both the co-founder and the CEO. Hunter & Gather Foods is based in Essex, and her education comes from a first-class degree in equine studies at Bristol College. Her favourite food and drink, I would have to say a grass-fed British steak with sweet potato fries, and it's a toss-up between our sriracha hot sauce and the garlic mayonnaise. What inspired you to enter food and beverage? As you can tell by my degree, it's not a natural step from equine studies to the food industry, but my passion for animals led me to work in the fast-moving consumer goods via pet food for one of the biggest human food producers, which is where I started to understand more about the human food industry and how I could help make a change in the health of the nation. Tell us about your role. As CEO and co-founder, my role is really varied. I specialise in sales and marketing, but also like to have an overview of total business. I'm active in managing our key rocks process for the senior leadership team, setting the strategy of business direction, as well as overseeing budget management and creation. Being an active founder, I also like to attend events, speak with our community daily via our Facebook group, and generally have my ear to the ground. What does a typical day look like? I would love to say there is a typical day, but in reality, in the scale-up business, there really isn't. I do my best to time block, and I love the inbox zero method, and this helps me keep a clear mind and focus on what matters most in a given day or week. It's important to be flexible and deal with what's in front of you, as it's amazing what curveballs come into a day. My non-negotiable, however, is that I start most days seeing the horses. This gives me a time out in natural morning light and fresh air and makes me ready to start the day. How did you get to where you are today? I've had many different roles, all of which taught me something useful for being a co-founder. I worked multiple jobs in bars, restaurants and shops whilst at college and university, which I self-funded. This helped with having a customer-first approach and being able to juggle priorities and time manage effectively. I worked in equine insurance, which gave me an eye for detail, in a charity, which gave me an eye for stretching budgets, and then finally in sales via the pet food industry at Mars and Lily's Kitchen. It was at Mars and Lily's Kitchen that it really clicked how retail works, and the route to getting healthier products on shelves is partly down to brands being available and showing that there is a consumer need and want. Blend that with mine and my co-founders Jeff Webster's own personal journeys with improving our own health and well-being through ancestral real-life food lifestyle, and the idea for Hunter & Gather was evolved into a brand. When you're having a bad day, what cheers you up? We have a new saying at Hunter that came from US author and former Navy officer Jocko Willink. Good, so now what? Things are inevitably going to happen that are a challenge. So when faced with something seemingly bad, remember that saying, and you will often find that what seemed bad can actually work out for the better in the long run. Apart from that, a doggo cuddle from the office dogs or going for a long horse ride ticks the box. What's your favourite part about the food sector? I love how innovative the food sector is becoming and how end consumers are really taking their health into their own hands and enabling that founded business or businesses founded by working class people like Jeff or I, for example, to flourish. The barrier to entry is lower than, say, tech, for example. If you could change one thing about the food beverage sector, what would it be? Most of our food and drink comes from a handful of key players still, who have big boards with vested interests, which need a profit over the health of the consumer. I would love to see governments backing more healthier food and drink startups to enable the consumers to have more options. What's next for you and what's the dream? We're really excited to have launched 3 of our mayonnaise products into Tesco in April. It was the first huge step for us and is part of our dream for Hunter & Gather to be available to all major supermarkets in the UK and Europe and cross-category, providing a healthier seed oil-free, refined sugar-free and grain-free solutions across all grocery touchpoints. We want consumers to know that if they see the Hunter & Gather logo in any category, that it's going to be of the highest quality and has their health forefront. Danone is to invest €70 million into medical and nutritional line. The Steenaboord site will be the company's first French-based facility focused on creating products to help patients suffering from disease-related malnutrition. The Steenaboord site has produced Danone products for the last 110 years and currently focuses on producing Danone's specialised nutrition ranges for early life, including Gallia and Bladina brands. The investment into the new medical nutritional line will see the site producing up to 20 million litres of oral nutritional supplements annually from 2026, with €60 million dedicated to recipe production for its Nutritia range. In preparation for the new line, the 430 Steenaboord employees will take part in reskilling and upskilling programs. The investment comes as the rate of chronic diseases increases. Alongside an aging population, disease-related malnutrition is a prevalent issue, affecting 1 in 4 patients admitted to hospital according to the nutrition industry. Our research shows that just 1 in 3 who need medical nutrition receive it. Nutritional needs change as people grow, age, and face health challenges. And at Danone, we believe that we have a responsibility to help generations live as healthily as possible, said Antoine de Saint-Affrique, CEO of Danone. We are continually innovating, investing, and utilising our 125 years of expertise to develop products that are adapted to the growing nutritional needs of millions of patients around the world. This investment is also in line with our renewed Danone strategy and shows our commitment to accelerating our adult medical nutrition product offering to meet healthcare demands and serve more patients. Danone has been undertaking research and innovating in this area for 125 years. This latest investment into medical nutrition follows several others, including the company's new production lines for its Lüleburgaz in Turkey and the Opole site in Poland in 2023, and more recently the acquisition of US-based functional formulas to boost Danone's medical and nutrition portfolio and expand its food-based tube feeding ranges. Whilst the majority of its latest €70 million investment will be focused on medical nutrition, €10 million will be used to install a biomass boiler. The business claims the boiler will lower the French facility's carbon footprint by almost 70%, in line with its impact journey commitments and enabled by its Refuel Energy Excellence program. Swiss luxury chocolate maker Lindt has launched a plant-based version of its famous Lindor truffles for all non-dairy chocolate lovers. The highly anticipated Lindt Lindor non-dairy oat milk truffles and Lindt Lindor dark chocolate oat milk truffles are the perfect indulgence for those who do not consume dairy products but still crave the premium chocolate experience, according to the company. These delectable, irresistibly smooth truffles are the second plant-based product in the Lindt collection, following the successful 2022 launch of the popular Lindt Classic Dairy Oat Milk Bars. We aspired to craft the best-tasting non-dairy truffle for all chocolate enthusiasts, including those who are avoiding dairy, lactose intolerant, or simply eating more plant-based alternatives, said Lindt master chocolatier Anne Shizaka. We are thrilled that our Lindt Lindor oat milk truffles offer the same luxurious, smooth melting chocolate experience with this exquisitely crafted premium oat milk recipe. The new non-dairy chocolate offerings from Lindt Lindor are available in 2 smooth flavours, oat milk and dark oat milk. They are now available to retailers across the United States and online at Lindtusa, lintusa.com.